Tim, when are you going to get another $100 haircut?
Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions, 4 p.m. BST on a Wednesday. We've got the motley crew here, Tim Jordan, Norm Ferrer and John Hefter as well. Waiting on Howard Ty, should be joining us in a moment. Today we're going to be talking about review manipulation, some of the changes coming up and helping you protect your neck for Q4. Also, there's some articles out there and some videos. What I'll do is I'll do a screen share. For those listening on the podcast, I'll try badly mimicking the words back so that you can follow along. Howard's here. Welcome, Howard. How are you doing?
How are you doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you still locked down in that hotel in Hong Kong since March?
Yes, I am. Still here.
Jesus Christ, you must be climbing the fucking walls.
I think I've talked to you like 5 times since then.
Yeah, I know. But it's it's like being in prison. Right, do you want to just quickly go around the room and do introductions? I'll share to the group, starting with you, Tim.
I'm Tim. that's all.
Okay. You're going to have to work with me here. Can you just spill a few more beans? Is that all right?
Yeah. Private Label Legion, Sellers Funding, Chief Growth Officer, Amazon Seller, all that good stuff.
Superb. John?
Sure. Hey, John Hefter here, founding team member at Thrasio. And I guess we run about 70 brands now on Amazon. I run product launch, a little bit of the defense team, and all creative for the company.
Superb. And Howard?
Howard Ty, the professor of Amazon. I'm owner of Synalytics.ai.
Excellent. And the man with the greatest beard in the game.
Hey, I'm Norm Ferrer, and gosh, I guess that's that's about the only thing I'm known for. I'm the guy that sells Amazon products with a beard, but I do have a Amazon managed service, a content management company, and a sourcing and logistics company.
Cool. Okay, so Mohammed saying keep up the good work. Yelchin is here. Hello, misters. And Ben Leonard says, hey, folks. Okay, so I shared to you guys some links to some articles and stuff. One of them's a video as well. What I'll do is I'll share my screen and we'll kick off with the one from Seller Labs. So this is an update on messaging and terms of service and stuff. I just thought we'll quickly go through this with you guys and get your interpretations of things. Blimey, there is some feedback. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Excellent. Right, so there's a massive. What I'll do is I'll share the link, but you can see it goes through there. There's a number of updates going on here. Key thing to come down to is, where are we? Right, this is the latest one, right? September 2020 update to Amazon messaging policy. So we've got communication types. So direct communication is defined as email sent to buyers. Indirect communication is defined as all the related information to buyers, One of the interesting things here, maybe you guys can pitch on, is Amazon has the authority to modify message subject lines in order to protect the buyer experience. Any of you guys come across that? Had your subject lines changed?
Not yet, no.
No. When do critical messages fall into the new Amazon communications policy? The following messages are considered critical to complete the buyer's orders. These are as follow. Product customization questions, delivery scheduling, issues with shipping, The following messages are not critical to complete the order. Requests for seller feedback or buyer reviews, order shipment, delivery, or refund confirmations. Amazon already sends these emails, all this stuff we should pretty much know. Proactive customer service, for example, product manuals, tips, Sending critical messages. If you're sending critical messages via Seller Central, you'll not be able to edit the subject line of the email sent from Seller Central. Amazon will deliver the message related to the completing of the order. There's some stuff here on compliance, but the bits I want to get to, where is the core of this? Here we go. Right, so this is the key thing. Like most of us know this already, but it's just like trying to avoid people to be on the side of sucking eggs here. So there's language that either incentivises or persuades a buyer to submit positive product reviews or seller feedback, including offering compensation We all know this. Language that requests removal and update of an existing product review. Language requests a product review only if they have a positive experience with the product. Now, I'm not going to read all the way through that, but John, tell me from your point of view, from Thrasio, you work at a very large scale, you've got a mass library of SOPs and stuff. What are some of the standard points that you guys do in terms of your structure when sending mail?
Yeah, look, I mean, we are in maybe an unfortuitous situation where we can't really play around, nor do we really choose to. So, we have a lot of monetary muscle where we can use outside traffic and other methods to, extensive amount of POAs turned in when we have people use erroneous reviews against us. But as far as any emails out to it, we're very generic, clean, and by the book, because it's a pattern of written evidence that we don't really want to mess with. And honestly, like the upside is not necessarily overwhelming to make it worth it for us. That doesn't mean for an individual seller who's small or starting out or doesn't have as much to lose that this might not be a good way for them to, in the short term, increase their propensity to get a positive review. I know a lot of sellers who sold to us who, did inserts for the first 1,000 units, 2,000 units that helped them get to a place and then pull them back before they could, be investigated or anything like of that nature. Everyone has to make their own risk assessment as is what is good for them. For us, it's fortunately long term. Unfortunately, sometimes because it can be frustrating, we don't play games.
Yeah, that makes sense. Tim, from your point of view, what would be an ideal message going out to customers in terms of the mailer?
I really think that one, we have to understand that Amazon is not our enemy, right? I know a lot of people disagree with me in that. So it's not only just about staying barely within the guidelines, it's about actually doing what they want us to do, what they try to do, which is provide a good customer experience. So as long as we're providing a good customer experience, I think that's what we do. If I'm sending out mailers, I'll say something like, hey, if you have some feedback, we'd love to hear. I will prompt them to give good feedback. But the truth is, if I have a crappy product, that's the feedback they're going to give me. So I think that the burden is not, hey, how do we convince people to give us good reviews? I think that the burden that we have on us is, how do I have a good product that people want to leave good reviews on and remind them to leave that feedback, right? Yeah. So it's not about trying to get a good review. It's about trying to get a review and us doing our job to make sure it is good.
And Tim, I'm just going to jump off that for 1 second too. We now have a team of people who are just fiddlers, right? Who take our products and fiddle with them and figure out a way to make improvements. And I would tell people, like, don't jump over a 20 to get to a 5. And what I mean by that is if you can make marked improvements with a small shift in the type of facets that are going into your product or the quality of steel that's in your tweezers or whatever the hell you're selling, like, do that up front and it'll pay in the long run. Yep. Find ways to fiddle with your product and figure out a way in which way you can make it better. Work with your supplier to do it. Most of the time, they're happy to do the work for you. And you're 100% right as far as quality takes care of itself in a lot of ways.
And I'll say this: like, a lot of people are trying to figure out what's the best way to ask for a review. What's the best way to convince people to leave your review? The truth is, I've quit asking, and here's why. Amazon has had such a hard time figuring out how to stop the black hat reviews and stop the fake reviews, and we can talk about why that is later, like why Amazon shuts that down. But now that they're just allowing a reasonable percentage of reviews, it doesn't matter how well I ask for it. If I ask and receive reviews over that certain allowable threshold, they're just going to delete them anyways, right? So if Amazon figures, hey, in home and kitchen, a normal review rate is 8%, why am I going to break my back trying to get to 16% when they're just going to delete half of them, even if the reviews that I got were legitimate, right? So I'm just kind of letting it happen organically when it happens, and it seems to be working.
Yeah. Howard, you got any comments here?
So from what I've known...
Hey, Andy, that comment's got Howard's face covered.
We missed that. Sorry, Howard?
Yeah, so that comment is covering my face, he's saying.
Sorry, there we go.
There we go.
You're back in the game.
Yeah.
Back in the game.
Okay, so from what I've noticed around right nowadays, you saw like a lot of this about black hat reviews or like all these review fraud that everyone's talking about that's giving Amazon a hard time. So they're trying to get make sure that everyone's not getting like that like crazy amount of reviews like they're supposed to by saying, hey guys, just only do what you're supposed to do. Don't even contact our buyers. Don't even if it's not if it's not related to something that they really need. So they're trying to make it so that they're not going to get in trouble with any with the government or whatnot, as well as the seller themselves are kind of getting protected by Amazon, because there's all these little buyers out there right now that are threatening or trying to ask for free products to give reviews. So they're trying to say, hey, don't listen to those buyers as well, because there's a lot of buyers out there that are trying to do that right now. They kind of know the game, so they know how to get those freebie stuff from the sellers. So that's what I'm seeing right now. And that's what these policies are for, just so that, hey guys, stop trying to get reviews.
Yeah. Norm, any comments here? You need to just unmute, my friend.
Sure, there we go. Anyways, I agree with what everybody said. That's great. If you're building, I always like looking at sending out products with perceived value. And if you've got perceived value and you've actually bought your product, I think that's the key. If you go and you buy your product, you'll be surprised at sometimes how it's delivered. And if you can take that and up it a notch, just like what Tim was saying, it's all about that whole customer experience. You're going to get the review if the box comes indented, or like I've got a beard brush once that came in this burlap bag that smelled like crap. Like, I'm not going to leave a great review about that, but it's the little things that always count, right?
That was just the impregnated beard fertilizer, Norm. That chicken manure in there. That's how you got that luscious beard.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you do the little things, like when you get it and you open it up and you touch it, feel it, smell it, and make sure it's great, and then I don't know if it was John. Yeah, I think it was John that said, improve on it. Like every time you go to order, see if there's anything that anybody said or what your competition is doing, and just improve on it. I'm exactly like what Tim said. I don't send out any reviews or requests for reviews anymore. We used to, we don't. And organically, we're trying to hit that 4 to 7%. At launch, we might get a bit higher. But if we're hitting that, we're good. And my last point, if you want incredible organic reviews, get brand ambassadors. Period.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I think it's Kevin said it. I'm sure it was him, and I stopped him as well. Is just gave up with mailers because of the fatigue. And I've done that a couple of years ago. I just don't think personally they're as effective. I know that we've got Rob Stanley from Feedback Wiz sitting in the chat here, who has something else to say about it. But the thing is that a couple of years ago, I don't know if it's changed because I don't use those platforms anymore. Even the calculation on the open rate was completely wrong. The calculation wasn't there from the message system, which the way it was set up, where you put them onto the whitelist and the blacklist. When I'd done some calculations there, it's just the open rate. And the thing is, if you've got a super low rate open rate, and I've seen that go down over time, and that's seen across many accounts, it just seemed like it's one of the, I think John was mentioned about the 5 into 20 or 20 into 5, is that it's where you invest your time as well. So I'm not saying don't do it, but then I think the general consensus is here, like with anything on Amazon, it's about the product, right? So is there any way, have you seen data that suggests, like John, you've got a big access to data yourself. Have you watched open rates decline over time, or are you getting a mixed message?
It depends, but I would tend to agree with you for the most part.
Yeah.
It's a little up and down across our portfolio, but yeah.
Tim, what are you seeing in terms of open rates and stuff?
So that's a little bit too generic of a question. I'll explain why. I am seeing the seller feedback, the 3 email open rate is declining. However, Amazon has built in more touch points.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if we just look at the fact that, well, now buyers can opt out of the emails and things like that, it can be discouraging. But we tend to forget that Amazon, while they're restricting some areas, are actually making it easier for people to leave reviews. When I log into my buyer app, like, I have little things that pop up. Hey, will you review this? Will you review this? Will you review this? So Amazon is actually, although they're decreasing the ability to send them emails, they're increasing their own initiatives to try to get people to leave reviews too. So again, as long as we have a good product, it's actually easier for people now to leave a review than it used to be.
Yeah. Cool.
So, another small thing I just want to, before I totally forget about it, one of the things I like to do when we launch a new product or is actually like to trigger the potential consumer's psychological response to what I'm sending them.
Yeah.
Like, so if I'm selling a new pillow, and I would say, like, something along the lines of, congratulations, you'll never have a better night's sleep, right? Something, that little note right there triggers a response that they're getting something that's luxurious, sort of like off of Norm's response. The opening experience should be good, right? There should be a little personalized card. I just launched this bathroom spray stuff we sold out. I made sure that the back of the bottle had what I consider to be like a very funny, carefully curated anecdote on the back to make the experience just more fun for the consumer. I made sure that the sprayer was the highest quality one of sprayer that I could get in the market, and just making sure that you're guiding the consumer to a more likely outcome, because people will be influenced by your messaging regardless of the product itself, if that makes any sense. So those little things for me are like those teeny little factors that add up if you do all of them right. And sorry to interrupt there.
No, that's good. The other thing is the styling element. So I'll read this out for the benefit of the podcast and the playback tomorrow. So no emojis, GIFs, message margin over 20% maximum width, image or graphic size is larger than 80% maximum width, overrides of Amazon default line height, font family or font color, fonts in more than 3 sizes, message bodies that are centered or otherwise overrid by default text alignment settings, more than 2 line breaks spacing between paragraphs in a row. Probably that's for affiliate marketers who likes to double space, and unsecure images on HTTP instead of HTTPS. So it's probably good to point out here is that that's a step that a lot of people may skip, and you've got to think about deliverability. So you might have a problem with sending out these messages. I think Rob Stanley's messaged in the chat here, basically saying is that they will make adjustments in their software. So anyone out there that are using these kind of softwares, maybe take that into consideration unless they're doing auto alignment. One of the other things I wanted to bring up is I just want to move over to another news story. So anyone listening, that what we've just been reading from is the Seller Labs blog Amazon messaging policy update. So you can go and check out the full background there. Next one I want to talk about is from the Union Journal. This is from the UK. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen. Here we go. Stop screen. Now share screen again. Right, this is going to more focused around the UK. What's kind of interesting here says Amazon deletes 20,000 reviews after evidence of profits for posts. So I've highlighted here as Amazon deleted approximately 20,000 product reviews written by 7 top UK reviewers following a Financial Times investigation into suspicious activity. The FT found evidence that users were profiting from these posts with thousands of 5-star ratings, whereas this one guy, I won't read out his name, but #1 ranked review on Amazon, who in August alone reviewed £15,000 worth of products from smartphones to electric scooters to gym equipment. Overwhelmingly, these products were from a little-known Chinese brand who offered to send a review products for free in return for positive post. Mr. Such and Such then appears to have sold many of these goods on eBay, making nearly 20 grand since June. I mean, this is kind of old, but what is your take on the situation with the trust level of reviews. There's a video from NBC that CNBC, sorry, that I'll run in a minute because that's gone around quite virally. But it seems that the trust level is starting to drop a lot more in and around reviews on Amazon, and it's interesting how Vine reviewers are participating in this, which is also going to bring down the trust level with Amazon. So, John, as you said, you deal with at a big level because I'm sure you've had people where they may have attacked you, and your legal teams are in there trying to overturn it when you've got loads of negative reviews or loads of positive reviews. What's your take on all this?
Look, I mean, you could go a lot of different directions with this. I think there is a slight decline in consumer trust when it comes to Amazon reviews, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be their main guidepost.
Yeah.
We're working on some larger tactics to maybe offset that slightly, but we haven't really initiated them yet. We haven't really seen a large injection of positive reviews for us as far as a tactic from our competition or nefarious actors in the space.
Yeah.
What seems to be the most common things that are happening to us are your sort of generic upvoting campaigns are very popular. Posting a review. We had one of our top selling products. Someone posted a picture of a cockroach stuck in the packaging, and then had that upvoted 900 times. Jeez. And we had it removed 3 times, and it keeps on getting put back up. Those sort of tactics are very common. 1-star hits are happening, although they're less. Most of the bad activity we're seeing is sort of used, sold as new. Various places where they, it's likely, I'm guessing, people, there's a lot of people who work for Amazon who don't make a lot of money, right? They work in India, they work in Costa Rica, they work in other places. Those people are susceptible to bribes, particularly in high volume verticals. So we're seeing a lot of action on that front, and hopefully we'll get to a point where that stuff gets resolved. And for us, one of our best defenses we have is just solid POAs and responses to reviews that we think are either against Amazon's terms of service, as far as what bad language and mentioning competition and all those other things that are right there for you to go and pursue. And look, we don't have 100% rate of getting them removed, but we do get a decent amount of them removed. And we actually have a team in the Philippines who just deals with that. So we're able to kind of quietly and slowly remove some of these negative reviews. Look, it's still going to happen. People are still getting away with review rates that are way higher than the norm. In a lot of verticals, we're still seeing guy launches a product and 45 days later, he's got 1,500 reviews. And Amazon I don't believe, they just simply can't catch everything. But what you can do is just have the best offense for yourself, right? And just check your listings every day to make sure that things look right, because we've seen massive drops in conversion rate, particularly from reviews that are upvoted as being the most helpful. Cool. I don't know if I answered your question, but No,
you covered quite a bit there. Norm, what's your take on it in terms of defense mechanisms? I'll go around the table, if you like, the virtual table.
Sure. Well, first of all, I think that it's the seller that is looking into this more than the buyer. So the trust level from the seller side, I still think it's wonky. Like if something is just too out there, then they're not going to believe it anyways. But I think in the seller world, I think we're looking at it and we're furious about it, but the buyer doesn't really care. I don't think. They're just going through, they're browsing, and it's tough. Like we've had a really great product have a huge smear campaign, take it from 4.5 stars down to 2.5 stars. And we also noticed that they did it to our other competition. And we even contacted the other competition. We knew exactly who it was, tried to report it to Amazon, but nothing happened. We just had to roll with the punches. And, one of the things, and I don't know if this is great advice, but if we get hit too hard, we'll just relaunch it under a different ASIN. I mean, that's sometimes the only thing you can do.
Yeah. Howard, defense mechanisms, have you got any suggestions for the audience?
Well, it's kind of hard sometimes. You gotta see what kind of tactics or what kind of things that they're doing, because sometimes you can't even find out who is doing it if they're not even launched yet. That they're just softening up the market. But like I would say, just need to really push hard with Amazon and see if you can actually get evidence. I've seen some clients of mine that would go into the, like how Norm was talking about. They see that they're giving like a negative review to a product and the competitors, and they're giving themselves a positive review or something that you can kind of calculate, get more data, and then send it to the appropriate teams. There's a list of emails that you can send it to that would get stuff done quick, as well as kind of, if it gets really bad, tell them, you could tell them saying like uh, not a fib or something, but like say get on to the news or something like that.
Yeah. What you mean in terms of leveraging that with Amazon? If you don't deal with it, I'll take it to the media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to do much. They're not going to record trying to take you down or anything, but it's something that you might need to do if it's really hurting your business.
Yeah. Tim, now you finished typing.
Yeah, sorry. So, and I'll share something that's interesting in a second. I was making sure I had my facts straight. But I will say this about reviews is we all like to blame Amazon for not doing anything. But think about this. Everybody that sells a crappy product that gets a crappy review complains. This has got to be fake. This has got to be fake. There's no way that I had this actual bad review. So Amazon gets millions of complaints about bad reviews a day from sellers, I'm certain, right? If we can't prove that it was a negative review campaign, we can't just ask them, hey, would you mind taking this down? Because the reason that the review manipulation stuff is stopped is because of the U.S. government, essentially. Is everybody aware of that? Like, the reason we can't buy reviews is the federal government doesn't allow it. And in most countries, they don't. It's the Federal Trade Commission. I was just looking back at some different legalities. It really started about 2014, 2015 with websites like Yelp and Google reviews and things like that, where companies are being fined millions of dollars for using reviews that manipulate the buyer's perception, right? So if we are manipulating purchase decisions based on false information, lying to the consumers, the government protects us as consumers, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is that street gets played both ways. So if Amazon's looking at it, they can't allow a bunch of positive reviews to manipulate a sale of a crappy product. But also, inversely, if a review gets a bunch of crappy review, or if a product gets a bunch of crappy reviews, Amazon has a legal bearing to keep those as long as they're authentic, right? So if you can't prove that they're fake, Amazon's not going to remove them, right? And just like Howard said, it's really hard to. Now here's the shining light at the end of the tunnel is because the review rate is what is being accepted, right? So a 5%, a 10%, 12%, whatever it is being accepted by Amazon. That also goes both ways. So the same reason that we can't go out and get 200 positive reviews on a product launch, they'll delete them. Luckily, that's helping us with the negative review campaigns, because if we launch a product and our competitors in 1 month slap us with 200 negative reviews, the same algorithm that's checking that rate is also removing those. That happened to me 2 months ago. I had a product that had like 20 reviews, and I woke up one day and then I had 40 and I had 50 and I had 60, and they're all negative. So I'm sitting complaining to Amazon, like, but what are they going to do? Because I can't prove it. Well, like 3 weeks later, I get pretty much all my reviews removed. I ended up with like 18 left. And when I was talking to them, they said, well, your listing was in violation of a higher than average review rate. So I realized the same mechanism we hate also protected me in that situation. So hopefully the negative review campaigns aren't going to be as big of a deal as they used to be because of that great equalizer, which is the acceptable rate.
Yep. I'm going to try and play a video now. Let me see if we can bring this up, and it also plays the audio. It should do. 1 second. And you'll see some familiar faces in there as well. All right, let's see if this comes up and plays. Let me know. Any sound on that?
Nope.
No sound. All right, 1 second. Okay. Did anyone hear any sound come through there? Anyone in the chat? Could you hear that video? No. Crickets. All right, so we won't be playing the video then after all. But basically, what goes in through the video, I'll just flick through the screen. You'll see some familiar faces in here. They're talking about review farms. You can see James Thompson there. He's saying that the Amazon effectively will have a struggle with dealing this with massive scale. The most interesting thing that I see in this video, which I share with everyone, is that they're saying that the trust levels on Amazon now, generally by the public, is they think that 54% are people, 54% or so people think that the reviews are fake. They're also talking about brushing and all sorts. But one of the things I want to talk about, and it's like devil's advocate, is that on the flip side of it is what drives people to go and get these reviews. So let me give you a quick example. I got called in to see Amazon last year in the UK. They come over from California. So I sat down with the team, had a conversation, talked about some issues on the platform. So I gave them an example. I said to them, look, what happens if someone spent 30, 40 grand on a product? They go and launch it. Their first reviews are 1 star. It's related to delivery. They go to the community, Amazon community, and it gets rejected as saying this is acceptable when you know it's not. It's meant to get a strike through or removed, etc. I said the problem you got, it's not like you can use PPC to recover. You got a 1 star, your conversion rate is going to be really bad. No one's going to want to buy that product based on 1 review and it's a 1 star. And also, if you're trying to do that and trying to affect organic rank, your conversion rate's so bad that it's going to affect your organic rank as well, right? So effectively, you know, there is literally nothing you can do other than break terms of service. Minimum. 2 things you can do. Go and get a load of friends and family reviews. Not advising that, but that's it. Or you just launch on a new ASIN and go for it again. And so there lies some of the problems there is where people had this integrity dilemma, if you like. And sometimes they don't want to go in that direction. But if you've got 30, 40 grand on the line, it puts people into those positions to rethink, well, what do I do? I'm not going to just write this stock off. If Amazon are not going to play by their rules, and I think there are some of the gaps in the system. Kicking off with you, Tim, talk about what you think about some of the gaps that may lead people to want to go down that route of friends and family and everything else.
I think that we're all trying to be competitive, right? Like, I don't fault people for wanting to use these systems. And what you've mentioned is accurate. Like, it is a scary thing to launch these products, and we absolutely need reviews, right? Yeah. When we've put that much money on the line, that one bad review is a nail in the coffin, essentially. I personally love knowing my other options, and we've talked about those. If I launch a product and I get 2 extremely crappy reviews right off the bat, the first thing I'm going to do, going to John's point, is make sure these are legitimate reviews. Yeah. If those reviews suck, I'm going to be so thankful that I got those reviews right now, right? Because I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to figure out what the problem is. I'm going to fix them. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to delete that ASIN. I'm going to remove all the inventory, relabel it, send it in under a new listing, and start, right? Yeah. I honestly feel like some of those are blessings in disguise. Yes. Like, I'd rather get those now. Now, what I don't want to do is I don't want to send these in, use the early reviewer program, get 5 or 6 friends and family to leave me 5-star reviews, get some velocity going, get some momentum going, and 3 weeks later I realize, crap, 30% of my reviews are 1 star, and figure out I have a problem later. I'd rather know that much, much earlier, right? Yeah. And a lot of times, I'll get on my soapbox for a second right now. Go for it. A lot of times we're entitled. Right? Yeah. Like, I see people all the time, oh, Amazon doesn't stick up for us. Amazon doesn't take care of us. Sometimes they don't. But by God's, how many millionaires right now do I know because of Amazon, right? Like, we can't completely beat them up. And sometimes we beat them up without taking responsibility for our own actions. If I launch a product that sucks and I get 3 1-star reviews and it kills my listing, is that really Amazon's fault or is it mine? Right? I'm not saying there aren't victims, but I would venture to say that 90% of the people out there that claim to be a victim, they're not. They're just entitled, and they have a problem that they don't want to take responsibility for, and it's not Amazon's fault. It's their own product's fault. Yeah, I was talking about FBA product delivery issues, and that they won't remove. But because I've never seen those not be removed. Yeah. I've never seen them not be removed. I've never had a single time where
I've
Amazon
seen
screwed up my
it happen
delivery.
twice. I've seen it happen twice. And
I've gotten rejection saying we're not going to do this, and I open it up again, and the next time they always do.
yeah,
I've
it is like a
never once-
law of averages that you have to keep going back.
Yes.
I've had a debate before where I got a review removed for a certain reason, and then the same person came back and done the same review again, right, for the same reason, and I showed that community manager the same review, and you get the usual bollocks, the AI coming back and telling you that it's within the guidelines. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my point is that in some places when you're talking about entitlement, I'm talking about being boxed in based on Amazon's rules that they don't abide by, which I think is why should someone suffer like that, which lends it to themselves to go down that road. That's all.
And I will say, I have seen Amazon be unfair. I really have.
Yeah.
I have seen people get suspended for crappy, reasons. I've seen reviews not get removed that should, but generally you may have to escalate it pretty hard. I've never seen a situation, especially with a delivery problem causing a bad review, where if I didn't just open up another case, and I might have to do it 2 or 3 times, I've always been able to get those reviews removed. Always. I don't have a single one that stuck. Does it suck that sometimes they send me those automated emails that just completely make no sense? Yeah, but when they're hiring 100,000 new people every day, you have to understand that like some of these people aren't the sharpest knives in the drawer, so to speak. Just open up a new case, and generally you can get it taken care of.
Cool. Norm, what's your take on bouncing over to a new ASIN and pulling your stock?
Yeah, I mean, if you have to do it, you have to do it. You were talking about about the family and friends thing, and I'll go one step further with that, and that's just going to these review groups and all these people that you don't think can leave a footprint, or if you ask people in a specific like a geo-targeted area, Fort Lauderdale, they're going to nail you, and you're going to get hit with those reviews, right? Or they're going to remove those reviews. It happens all the time. For me, I just think that it's a hard decision, but I'd rather start fresh and get the ASIN back up there. I mean, if you're under attack, that's the only thing you can do.
John, I'm not going to put you under pressure to answer that question, so I'll flip over to Howard. What's your take on it?
So, from what I've seen, like you said you've seen like it happen like to you twice or something. I don't really see it that often, and if you really get reviews from when you're just starting to launch, most likely it's the product issue. No one's going to really attack you if you have no
well, that's on you. If it's a shitty review about your product, that is on you. Do you know what I mean?
Probably the product, like what Tim was saying, probably a product issue. But if you really get a problem with Amazon on reviews and for their fulfillment side problem, and you still can't get it off, which I would report it 2 or 3 times. Different reps have different kind of might have a bad trip that one day, and they just rejected you. But I think if you do it more often, as well as maybe you can use those inventory as bundles instead, and throw in and go in and start doing more, do a new ASIN or whatnot. Try to offtake not try to send it back and relabel it and stuff like that. And that's the more cost and more stuff. If you could think about bundling and stuff like that.
Cool, John. I'll ask you the question in the context of: have you had experience with getting a 1-star review on new product launches? I know that you guys buy existing businesses, but obviously you carry on launching products thereafter. Have you had success with 1-star remove on your first reviews for a catalog of reasons and whys, whether it's fake or not?
Yeah, I think we haven't had major issues. We've had a couple that we've had 1-stars removed. But look, if you have a sound product, and we try to be as attentive as possible to make sure that our product's actually good. You have to understand that there's a very high likelihood if you read how Amazon measures review, they have a very nebulous answer, which to me means that internally they have some sort of methodology that weights the reviews as far as the reviewers are concerned. So they see some reviewers as being quality and some being low quality, and they will weigh the high quality reviewers. So likely a low quality reviewer would be someone who's had an Amazon account for 12 minutes and they've left 10,000 5-star reviews. They would probably see that as being a very low quality reviewer, right? If they have someone who's had an account for 7 years, they purchased 3,000 products and they've left reviews on 8% of them, and the average is 4. That's probably a high quality reviewer. So the score can fix itself over time. And if I was like doing it on a small scale, I wouldn't abuse like a friends and family type thing, but I'd probably try to get the word out for a little bit just to get my first 10 in or something like that. I mean, we don't really do that, but just use sort of common sense. And then the other thing I would say is like the audience in general is smarter than you think they are, right? Like I can always, when I'm just buying my own crap that I want on Amazon, I can always tell when a review is legit or not. Like kind of half broken English, really, really good product. Thanks. We'll be buying a ton more. And it's like, I don't know, it's a water filtration product. Like, no, of course it doesn't make sense. Right. Or I see 5 of the top reviews all basically say the same exact thing as if it was coached. The best reviews you can get are like paragraph long, how this changed my life for the better, and the little nuances of my own personal life of why I like it. And those are the ones that will really matter. It'll probably all work out for the most part if you have a good product, though. Look, I would pulling the plug's okay too if you have to do it, but I guess that's my general advice is don't get thrown entirely off course from a few bad reviews. If A, you think you can fix them eventually, or B, you think your actual product is good enough to overcome it. And to Howard's point, like the people at the top get attacked. The people that are threats get attacked. New to the space, just getting started, probably lower likelihood.
Yeah. Cool.
Hey, Danny.
Sorry. Yes, of course. No.
Can I just add?
Of course.
Research the person leaving the review as well. So if you find out that all of a sudden there's 1, 2, and they're tricky, so 1, 2, 3 stars, or even a 4-star, but they leave this. Well, I love the product, but the ingredient in here could cause a massive heart attack or something like that, where they leave these crazy words. Go and check out their profiles. And especially if they're coming in over a regular period of time, that's when you can take them, take the URLs and report it over to Amazon, and make sure that you understand, if they are trying to lead you over to your competitors, or if they're, putting in those types of keywords, that you can report them for that reason. But the other thing that's really important to know is, look, if you're going to play with fire, you're going to get burnt. If you decide that you're going to go to free rebate networks and you ask them to leave a review, well, people who are buying discounted products all the time, and people who are, let's say there's 250 or 1,000 people buying the exact same product all the time, those reviews are just going to be removed immediately. Low quality buyer score. Yeah. So, and I do have to hop off the broadcast now. So
join Norm on the other channel in 15 minutes time. I'll be posting a thing on Norm's podcast on Friday about mental health, so you can find that on my page. I'll put it in the comments as well. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us today, Norm. Quickly, how would people reach you?
Oh, just reach out at norm@prreach.com.
Sounds good. Thanks, mate, for joining us.
See you later. Thanks.
Cool. I'll go around the room now, just to wrap up. Tim, what's your final bit of wisdom, if you like, for Q4 in and around reviews? Let me turn your mic back on because you were typing. There you go.
I know. I'm so nervous, and I'm on the call with you because everything I do, I know you're gonna get mad at me. My biggest piece of advice is keep calm and carry on.
Yeah.
Like, everybody likes to overreact. Everybody likes to probably complicate their lives unintentionally by having an overreaction. The truth is, Amazon is just a business. Like, the hacks, the tricks, the black hat stuff, they come and go. But the truth is, if we have a good product that's in demand with low competition, we can sell it, right? We have to adjust. But especially going into Q4, people like to start pushing buttons and pulling levers because they feel like they have to. And a lot of times you end up messing up more than you you benefit yourself. So just keep calm, carry on. It's normal business. Do what you know you're supposed to do. Don't get, drug away by shiny object syndrome. If you feel like there's a big decision or a big change that you need to make, sleep on it first. Take a deep breath, have a drink, relax, make that decision tomorrow if you
Sounds
calm down a
good.
little
Howard,
bit,
any
life will
final
go on.
wisdom? Just need to unplug. There you go.
So I've seen a lot of products. I've seen a lot of brands. I've seen a lot of good products, bad products. What I really suggest people do is actually just concentrate on building that brand. Concentrate on building that brand story. If you have your good pictures, good product, good EBC, good A pluses. Make sure that, of course, the brand has the flow of the brand story. If you have all that, I've always seen those brands are always gonna last long, as well as their view rates are really high compared to the ones that are just out there and doesn't have the trying to build that brand, trying to build that product quality.
Yeah.
Involved. I would really just don't even try to think too much about the reviews. Just build your brand, build your products, make sure everything's good. Everything will work out eventually. So it's not anything that you need to worry like what Tim said, over worry yourself on.
Yes. John?
Look, at the end of the day, you're selling trust. Danny, you and I talked about this before, and Howard, you just pointed out to it. Like every consumer is making 100 little micro decisions prior to hitting the buy button. Do I trust this? Do I trust this? Is it a piece of crap? Are they lying to me?
Yeah.
And if they come back with no, I trust this every single time, the likelihood of you converting is high. I would say understand your inventory situation going into the holiday season. This could be a very wild, crazy Black Friday area holiday. It could be just so massively big. And you have two choices. If you have a ton of inventory and you think you're healthy, you can discount your way to positioning, right? And then ride out the holidays. Or you can just sort of hold strong. I don't obsess about reviews. I don't think that's a good way to go about doing business. I obsess about product improvements, and then we obsess as a company as figuring out other ways to sell our product, whether it's using outside traffic to drive things in, using Instagram, Pinterest, having a D2C site, doing all the other things that you can do to improve your position and remain healthy. If you're an individual seller, you can do one or two of those things a year. Write it down on a piece of paper, commit to one of them, and do it.
Yeah, good advice. Tim, how can people reach you?
Facebook group Private Label Legion. You can find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Tim Jordan. I'm not hard to find.
Cool. Howard?
I think the best is the Signalytics users.
Yeah.
So that's the Facebook group. That's the best that you can reach me because I'm over my 5,000.
Okay, no worries. John?
You can find me on Facebook or John at thraz.io.
Cool. Guys, don't forget, vote now for your favorite 9 in the 9 different categories. Sellerpoll.com, brought to you by Thrasio. Next week, there's been a delay. We'll be launching the new Databril free PPC tool. We had a problem with the API connection today. So probably Monday, Tuesday next week, I'll do a demo and be good to get some beta feedback. Tomorrow, I'll be back here at 4 p.m. BST as we go in depth with Justin Dyson. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Guys at home, thank you for tuning in. Stay safe, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.